Well, how are you folks? Right here in Western Washington. And if you're not in Western Washington, you're going to move here. Welcome. Anyway, this final bonus video is all about the hikes I like to take here in Western Washington. And so if you get this up this direction, or if you live here already, you're probably familiar with a lot of them. But if you haven't hiked and you're thinking about getting out there and you just wanted somebody to kind of give you an idea of what's out there, there are some books that you can get at the bookstore on all the trails that I'm going to be talking about, and they give you details about how to get there and all of that. I'm just going to talk about how what the mountain's like and some of the advantages to hiking there and what I like about it and dislike about it and that kind of thing. So and remember, I get to the trailheads very early in the morning, usually before sunrise, so I don't like a lot of people, and I usually run into the people coming back down the mountain, but I like to be by myself going up the mountain. You know, you give the bears and the cougar an even chance, you know, to get me. I mean, they ought to eat too, right? Okay, so here they are. These are the ones that came to mind. Mount Dickerman's my number one. And it's 17 miles east of Granite Falls and up north of Everett, Washington. It's the reason one of the reasons I like it is because it's in the woods. A lot of the hikes I take along I-90, like Mount Si, for example, you know, you can, or even Mailbox Peak. I mean, you can see the highway down below. You know, when you get Mount Dickerman, you don't see anything except mountains, and the scenery is absolutely amazing. And it changes all the time. That's the other thing. Some hikes, you're in the woods the whole time, or some hikes, you know, in the woods for a minute, and you're up in the, exposed to everything. And the next minute, and most of it's no trees, and so they're all different that way. But Mount Dickerman changes all the time. You're in the trees, and then there's a clearing, and then it changes again. You're in a meadow, and you can see the mountains across the meadow, and then it changes again, and then it changes again. So it's different all the way up, and then when you get up on top, it's a 360-degree view of you can see Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, everything. So I highly recommend it. It's a 3,800-foot elevation gain, so in about 5 miles. So it's not an easy hike. It's a tough hike, but well worth it. The other thing about it is I did hear a Sasquatch up there once, so I have to tell you that. I don't know what it was. It wasn't an animal I ever heard before. It was the most blood-curdling scream I had ever heard, and it was really early in the morning. It was still dark out. Yeah. Oh, I saw a wolf up there too. He stood there on the trail, on the trailhead, and he just looked at me while I was by my car. Before I was heading up, right? I was ready to get going, and he's just sitting there looking at me and looking at me, looking at me. Finally, he took off. I figured he was watching me the whole time I was going up the mountain. I don't know, maybe not. If his buddies weren't around, he'd probably leave me alone. So, Mount Dickerman, that's my number one. I really highly recommend it. If you get a chance to get up there, do so. And I would skip over Kendall Catwalk for a second and talk about Mount Pilchuck, because it's right up by Dickerman. And it's before you get to Dickerman, but when you drive up to Pilchuck, the county doesn't have the money apparently to fix the roads. At least that's what I was told. The potholes are unbelievable. So it takes you forever to get there, because you got to drive. You can't really drive around them all, but you got to drive really slow, because it's like you're going down in the valley and they're coming up. So keep that in mind. If you got an all-wheel drive car, I guess you got a lot of clearance, you're pretty good. But if you don't, it's going to take you a while to get back up and to get up there and get back down. So, but Mount Pilchuck is, the nice thing about that is that it's a relatively short hike, but when you get to the top, the views are amazing, and it's really nice views on the way up too. So, I highly recommend that. It also has a little shack on top. I guess they used it. Well, it used to be a ski resort. Might have been part of it, but I think it was more for fires they built that. But they kept it up, so you can actually climb up to this little shack, and from that shack you can see, I mean, everywhere. And it has inside the shack, it'll have has a map that shows you all the different peaks that you're looking at. So very interesting hike. People sleep overnight in the shack. Of course, you got to go there early, because you get there, I don't care what time you get there, people are in there. So, or they're just waking up and coming down. But Mount Pilchuck's a good one. You can tell the trail's really old. People have been going up there for a long time. So Mount Pilchuck is a good one. Kendall Catwalk. Kendall Catwalk is up on Snoqualmie Pass. It's on the Pacific Crest Trail. So you get off the pass, I think exit 52, going to the highway, go up, you'll find it in this big parking lot. Get there early, because when I get down the mountain, there's no place to park in those things. People are parking way down the street, down the road, a mile and a half away. So that's an advantage to getting there early. So Kendall Catwalk is a long hike. It's about, I guess, 5 miles or so to the catwalk, and once you, and the scenery, you can see Mount Rainier when you're going up. Scenery is really nice, but when you get to the catwalk, the scenery is unbelievable, because you're looking really into the wilderness. It's like you can see, you're overlooking the Snoqualmie ski area as you're going up the mountain. But once you hit the Kendall Catwalk and turn that corner, you know, you're in the wilderness. It's just amazing. And if you have the stamina, and I haven't done it in I think about 3 years or so, but if you have the stamina, you can keep going and go all the way to Joe Lake. If you go to Joe Lake and come back down to the parking lot, it's about 18 to 20 miles. I think it's about 18 miles. So it's a pretty good day hike. I tell people, oh, I went to Joe Lake. Oh, so where did you camp? I don't camp. I don't like mosquitoes. I don't like mosquitoes at all. That's what I tell people why I go so fast, because of mosquitoes, you know. I don't want them catching me. So yeah, I go to Joe Lake, and Joe Lake is beautiful. And there, you pass a couple lakes on the way. They're great, and the scenery is fantastic. So highly recommend Kendall Catwalk. Mailbox Peak. Mailbox Peak's a challenge. A lot of folks who do Mailbox Peak with a heavy weight that are planning to climb to the summit of Mount Rainier. And to give you an example, there's 2 trails. There's the old trail that's no longer maintained. That's 2,800. You gain 2,800 feet in 2.5 miles. It's serious. Plus, they don't maintain the trail, so there's stumps, and you got to kind of look for the trail. Sometimes it disappears, and then you got to look for the little thing on a tree. I mean, it's wild. I did it a couple weeks ago, and then once you get to 2,800 feet, right, you get up that part of it, then you hit the new trail, and then you got to go the rest of the way to the top of the mountain. So it's like a 5,000 foot mountain, and so you go 2,800 feet straight up, and then you go to you keep going. But there's an actual mailbox on top, and people put things in it and decorate it and all that kind of stuff. So, and the scenery is great. It's a beautiful place, but you can't see the highways way down below. So, like I say, that's why I like Dickerman still the better, because you're really out there in the wilderness. Cascade Pass, I didn't put it on here, but I want to mention it. Cascade Pass is further up north. I don't go there a lot because it takes so much time. And I like to do things in the day and just get back late. Cascade Pass, I did that once, and it's a really, really pretty hike as well. So, that's Mailbox Peak. I'm going to challenge Mailbox Peak. The new trail is a challenge as well. I mean, it makes it 12 miles long, at least 12 miles long. Another one is Dirty Harry's Peak. Dirty Harry's Peak is unique. It's very well traveled, because there's different hikes that you can do in Dirty Harry's Peak. There's Harry's Balcony, and there's all these things. You can look them up. But the thing with Dirty Harry's Peak is its challenge is the last, I think it's mile or so, mile and a half, is straight up. And there's not that much of a view when you get to the top. You're really getting up, and it's kind of trees and everything, and you can kind of see a view, but you know, it's really, really narrow, but the hardest thing about it, the challenge is just that last mile or so is being so steep. It's kind of like Mailbox Peak that way. It's kind of remind me of that first part of Mailbox Peak in the old trail. So that's Dirty Harry's Peak. And McClellan Butte. McClellan Butte, if you know how to get to the road above the main trailhead, if you know how to get there, it shortens it up quite a bit. But if you go to the main trailhead, you hike through kind of a really, really easy hike thing up to the road. Then you go from the road over to the trail, and then you head up, and it seems so easy, you know, and I'm going along and I'm thinking, this is pretty easy. I heard this was kind of a challenge. But once you get up there, and then it gets steeper and steeper, and it gets a pretty good one. It's another one where you get up to the actual top, and if you get up close to the actual top, there's not much of a view, a little bit. You can go to the top. It's like 100 feet more, but it's exposed. it's like 1,000 feet. I don't know, 1,000 feet straight down. It's not for me. That's not my game. I'm not a climber. I'm a hiker. So you know, they got, it looks like, you know, hands and footholds, you get up there, but I come down with at my age, and I don't trust my balance that much, so I stay away from that. But I did get up there to the base of that and looked around, so that was fun. So that's McClellan Butte. Oh, one I didn't mention, I left it off here because I do it. I've been up there 300 times. That's Mount Si. I mentioned it maybe, but Mount Si. And the thing about Mount Si that's nice is that in the wintertime, I don't go. I take a few months off in the winter and don't hike. Yeah, I know, sacrilegious, but I don't hike in the dead of winter. And I start in March, and usually snow and ice up there then, but it's not one of those places where you have to worry about avalanches. It's just snow and ice, and you take your micro spikes and you go up and your poles and you're fine. But it's when I know the trail so well, I could almost do it with my eyes closed. Sometimes it seems like that's what you're doing in the fog. It's like, whoa, can't see anything. But yeah, Mount Si is a very popular hike. So if you go, again, go early, get a parking place, and there you have it. Those are my favorite. I've heard about others, but I haven't done them, so I'm not going to comment on them. There are so many hikes along I-90, and even the ones up by Dickerman, besides Pilchuck and Dickerman, there are other kinds of hikes up there. I've done a couple of them I didn't like, but there's others that I haven't done. So go explore. But those are the ones that I really like. And if you start, if you're just starting out hiking, now Mailbox Peak's probably might be a good first one for you if you're in good shape. But if you're not, you're just getting started, and I don't know how good shape you're in, if you're going to be able to make it or not, go Little Si. There's a Little Si, and that's just up the street from Mount Si, the Big Si. It's a little short hike, and you can try that. And another one that's real easy that's along I-90 is Rattlesnake Ridge. Very popular little hike, real short, but it's a nice view, and you get top, overlook some water, all that, so it's not bad. So try those two things. If you want to go up north for easy hike, date hike, I used to call them date hikes, you go Wallace Falls. Wallace Falls is a nice little hike too. So those are just a few ideas for me when you're just starting out. And then if you know you can handle a mountain, then I'd say go mountainside first. Don't mess around with Mailbox Peak till you get a little bit more confidence, and I feel like you can make it. So that's it. I appreciate your time, and I hope I see you on the trail. Bye.